Good evening, everyone. I'm Makush Lapinder. It's wonderful having you back with us. As the government looks to up its game in the ongoing fight against global warming, the lingering question is, will it still proceed with Oban Energy's multi-billion-dollar plan for East Grand Bahama? The initial agreement calls for a $5.5 billion oil refinery and storage facility. Well, amid serious concerns and controversy, there's the impact all refineries can have on the environment. The government has for months been at the table negotiating a new deal. And according to Environment Minister Romuald Ferreira, despite that timeline, they're still pushing ahead.
The government will not move forward with any project, whether it's oil or a hotel, because hotels carry environmental risks too, without ensuring that all environmental safeguards are in place. And in addition to that, we intend very shortly to bring our suite of environmental legislation, which will allow us to enforce and protect in ways that we've never done before.
The minister added that the cabinet subcommittee formed to look into the issues has not yet been completed.
So it would be premature of me and immature to speak out on something whereby they have not finished their work. They will finish their work and they will disclose to you exactly what the position is. But I can tell you, as Minister of Environment and Housing, whatever happens going forward, we will be on it.
And according to Minister Ferreira, the government has already started in this regard, as the damage left behind in Hurricane Dorian's wake has driven the government to push through a green economy for both Grand Bahama and Abaco.
That is driving us forward with the environmental legislation. As a matter of fact, the Ministry of Environment and Housing, we're doing our part. And I've emphasized this a number of times. We installed 1 megawatt of renewable energy at the Thomas Robinson Center. We fixed the New Providence Sanitary Landfill. That's a source of methane. That's a greenhouse gas. We're installing RE panels on public schools. I mean, we're moving forward and doing the things, everything within our power that we can do to make our country more climate resilient.
Meantime, the Prime Minister has said the new Oban Energy's deal will be in the best interest of Bahamians. The Environment Minister also using the opportunity to sound off on all the backlash he's gotten in the wake of Tuesday's comments outside Cabinet. At the time, he revealed that 1 goat and 3 birds were affected by Equinor's oil spill in Grand Bahama. Environmentalists argue that the minister did not take the matter seriously.
I was in the process of giving an update as to what happened at Equinor, and for persons, for whatever agenda they have, whatever motive they have, they did what they did. And what they did was they took a snippet when I gave an update on wildlife that was impacted. We got that from Equinor. That doesn't change.
The minister contends that the real issue is that the audio clip mentioned nothing of the fact that the ministry met with Equinor and a number of other international groups to address the matter, among other important points about the oil cleanup.
We met with executives from Equinor, and they met with senior officials from the Ministry of Environment and Housing, the Department of Forestry, the BEST Commission, the Department of Environmental Health Services, and they gave us an update. And that's what I did when I went to the cabinet. I stopped and I spoke to reporters and I explained to them what we had done. I explained to them that Equinor had quadrupled their staff, but of course that wasn't in the video clip. I explained to them that 6,000 barrels of oil had been recovered, equating to about 250,000 US gallons of crude oil, but that wasn't in the video clip.
Now, nearly 2 million barrels of crude oil, or 75 million gallons of oil, was reportedly spilled from Equinor's oil facility during the passage of Hurricane Dorian. Well, 3 weeks out of Hurricane Dorian, and more than 600 people are still missing. In hopes of better helping authorities out, the police today issued bulletins for 6 Grand Bahama residents, 3 of them relatives. Authorities say 21-year-old student Tanae Pinder is 5'3", 115 pounds, has dark brown shoulder-length natural hair, and a red rose tattoo with Sybil on her upper left shoulder. Sybil Pinder is also missing. The 60-year-old customs broker, who stands 5'5", is 170 pounds, has brown natural hair and a mole between her eyes. The search continues for security officer Roswell Pinder as well. The 60-year-old's described as dark-skinned, 5'8", 160 pounds, with a dark brown low haircut. His right eye appears cloudy. We also have fellow security officer, 43-year-old Terrell Lightbourne, who's 5'8", 170 pounds, bald and with a scar over his left eye and another under his right eye. McLeanstown resident George Lang is 49 years old. The fisherman is 6'2", 400 pounds with a low gray haircut and gray beard. Police also need you to reach out to them if you spot 63-year-old retired teacher Clarence Jones, who is 6 feet tall, between 210 and 220 pounds. Over in Abaco, an appeal goes out for Astrid Emily Stratton. The 77-year-old Caucasian is 5'10" and heavy built. Any word on her whereabouts, you should call the Central Detective Unit at 502-9907, 502-9971, or 502-9991. Well, with 60% of Abaco decimated and parts of Grand Bahama badly damaged, panic surrounds the housing market on those islands. However, Bahamas Real Estate Association President Christine Wallace-Whitfield is taking a wait-and-see approach. When asked, the BRIA head said it's still too early to determine the impact Hurricane Dorian has had on the market. In the meantime, the association's working to find accommodations for hurricane survivors here in New Providence, which Ms. Wallace-Whitfield admits has been an issue. 1,589 people are still living in shelters throughout the capital. Another 52 in Grand Bahama. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news was brought to you by Alive.